Hello. Hi. Welcome to my show. I don't know, human design things. So, I've been getting a lot of questions recently about human design manifestation and how do you manifest using human design? And my answer is both complicated and simple as hell. The truth is that you don't need human design to manifest. You really don't. Like we're always manifesting, literally always manifesting. You don't need to know your human design in order to create the life that you want. However, human design does, in my humble opinion, make it easier. So there are a few different things that I use in human design to make manifesting easier, to make it faster, to troubleshoot, to ensure that I am getting the things that I want rather than the things that I don't want. But it is all information. So if I had to break it down into steps, my very first step of manifesting with human design would be this. And I know I've talked about this before, and I've talked about it inside the human design income system, which I will drop a link to if you're interested. That is my number one program right now. It will teach you how to build a business and an offer based on your body graph. But what I talk about in the program is that we are constantly being distracted by a million different things. That is literally the matrix, right? Is all of the distractions that are happening. It is the media, it is social media, it is news, it is your friends, it is all of the things that are on my desk right now. It is all 85 million books that I have. It's everything and it's everywhere. And the only way to manifest the life that you want, especially if that's not the life you're living right now, is to limit those distractions because your awareness is manifestation. You manifest what you are aware of. You create where your awareness goes. For instance, if my awareness is constantly going to, I'm rich, I'm a rich bitch. I have everything that I want. I have everything that I need. I'm going to create more of that. We know this. This is like the law of attraction. I'm going to create more of that. But if my attention is constantly going to a million different things, that is what I'm going to manifest. Distractions, lack of clarity, confusion, overwhelm, anxiety. There you have it, folks. That is why so many people are confused. And I see this a lot in my program where people are confused about what they're creating, their messaging. And I get it. I totally get it. And I've been there too. But my solution for it is not always to do more work. Sometimes it's to do less work. It's to cut off all of the dopamine hits that you're receiving throughout the day. It's to detach from your ex-boyfriend. It's to press the pause button on the drama-filled relationships. It's not scrolling or limiting your scrolling because I know that can be hard. It's not watching Netflix at night, right? Like there's so many different places where our awareness goes. And that's really the first lesson here is check where your awareness is going. And I'm realizing that maybe I'm not explaining the importance of this, the magnitude of your awareness. So think about it this way. Everything you know that exists because you know it to exist. Right? That makes sense. I know the things in my office that exist because I know them to exist. Therefore, they exist because of my consciousness, because I created them, because I observed them. And maybe I need to go more into the science of like quantum physics and spirituality because it's also the Kabbalion and the Kabbalah and the laws of the universe all teach the same thing. Science essentially teaches the same thing too, is that our consciousness creates reality, which is amazing, right? Like that is what we want to hear. We love that because that means that I can create whatever I want from my consciousness, which in theory should be easy. But here's why it's not easy. Here's why it's can be difficult for you to create the life that you want from your consciousness. Your consciousness is bogged up with bullshit ideas and bullshit distractions all day, every hour, every minute, probably. How long can you go with only one screen? Because it's hard, right? Like if you're watching Netflix, I guarantee you're also on your phone. Or the commercials come on, you're on your phone, right? Like we are so easily distracted. How can we possibly expect our minds to focus on just one thing? How can we possibly, I don't know what's happening here. How can we possibly expect our minds, our brains to rewire to receive everything that we want when we can't even focus? We can't even focus on scrolling through one video, right? So the first step in manifestation that not enough people talk about is training your mind to obey, training your mind to focus, and reducing the distractions. And again, I did a whole inside the Human Design Income System. We have a private podcast where every month I record a private podcast. So I did a whole episode just on these distractions. And there's different names for them, right? There's egregores, there's the matrix, there's just distractions, there's dopamine addictions, there's so many different names. The point is that you need to hone in your awareness so that you can focus. Because wherever it is, I guarantee you it's not where it should be in order for you to create the life you want. So right now you're allowing all of these distractions, all of this bullshit all around you to create the life, to create your life. And you don't even realize it. And then you meditate for 5 minutes, 3 days in a row, and you're like, I don't understand why I haven't manifested $1 million. Girl, me either. Okay. We need to focus. We need to remove distractions. And a lot of you know, I did some, I don't remember if I did an actual video on this or if it was just on Instagram, but I did a 30-day detox of all distractions. And it was mind blowing. It was incredible. And I've been doing similar detoxes ever since, not a full 30 days, although I should do that again. But I have kept up a lot of the habits and it has changed everything. Like I've changed my entire awareness in 30 days. In 30 days, like that's nothing. You can do that. So that is something that I'm going to create for the community, a little detox for us, but also it's going to be like a manifestation. I don't know. I want like a fun name, like a manifestation miracle journey. I don't fucking know. Okay. What I want to talk to you about is the importance of human design within the aspect of distractions. So we know about conditionings. We know that our undefined centers hold our conditionings. And this is common basic information, but you know, we don't do basic around here. So the non-basic information that you probably only know if you've been in my world for the past 5 years, but if you haven't, if you just found me, if you just found this work, this is going to blow your mind. And I can't believe that more people don't talk about this because when it comes to distractions, we take in information and process it differently. There are definition types, and I'm sure that you, and I'm going to share my screen because I brought receipts. I'm sure that you have, I opened them all by accident. I'm sure that you've seen this on your chart. No matter where you get your chart information from, I'm sure that you've seen this, but you probably have not paid much attention to it. So let me show you. This is someone who is a single definition. Now, if you look at your chart, it will likely tell you what your definition type is. Not, I know I say type and everyone's like generator. No, your definition. And this is your defined centers and how they are connected to each other. Why is this important? Because somebody who is a single definition, their energy is connected. They have a streamlined way of processing information and distractions, right? They have a streamlined way of doing that. It gets processed through their body in a much simpler way. For someone like this, I would say, well, she has the undefined crown and the undefined ajna, but I would say distractions aren't going to throw you completely off your game, right? Because you have a streamlined way of processing your energy. But because she has so many undefined centers, she's going to experience distractions and anxiety and what's the word I'm looking for? Conditioning. Duh. Through all of her undefined centers. So she's going to have this inspiration overload. She's going to feel like she's never right and not good enough. She's going to feel like nobody hears her. So I'm just going to go listen to other people. And then it's going to start this comparison thing. And anyway, she has the undefined G. So comparison is huge. And then again, she never feels good enough. She has to prove herself. There's so many distractions in all of these, but luckily she does have these two centers that process information in a streamlined, independent sort of way. So she does have what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say is that if she limited the distractions and the way that it affects her through her undefined centers very specifically, right? So inspiration, feeling like you always have to be right or that you're always wrong, not feeling seen or heard, right? If she focused on those very specific ways and looked at the information she was taking in, like, oh, when I scroll, I always compare myself and feel not good enough. Okay, great. We got it. That's the undefined G and the undefined ego. So we're going to limit scrolling because right now it's not conducive to what we're trying to create. I always feel like I am taking on other people's emotions. Okay, cool. So we're going to limit drama because everything is going to escalate, right? This person doesn't have to limit everything, and neither do you, but you have to become aware of how you're processing information, conditioning through your undefined centers. I probably picked a difficult chart because she only has two defined centers. But I think you understand what I'm saying. For someone with a single definition, if you are looking at how your external reality is affecting your life, it's going to be your undefined centers. Now, here's the part you're probably like, okay, Donna, we know that. Like, that's common knowledge. Okay. So let me show you something that I don't see talked about a lot. This person, who shall remain nameless, me, is a split definition, which over here, if you look, it's a split, small split, 25, 27, 52, 57. I love genetic matrix because it will tell you your bridges. Not everybody has bridges. Listen carefully because I get this question all the time. Sorry if that came off weird. Please listen. If you are a small split, large or wide split, or a quad split, you are going to see bridges. Okay. These bridges are first and foremost your biggest conditioning factors. We call these the dominoes. These conditioning factors are so important when manifesting because they are going to throw you off track. They are forks in the road. Do not go that way. Okay. So, for instance, let's see, my 27. Okay. This is one of my bridges. So before I even look at my undefined centers for conditioning factors, I'm going to look at the shadow aspects of my bridges and how I feel like I am not good enough here. Simple splits and quad splits. Simple and quads. You will always feel like you are not enough in these bridges. That is a lie. That is the biggest conditioning that once you overcome this, your entire life will change just from not believing this anymore. Okay, does that make sense? Take my glasses off for this one. I want to make sure we're listening. These bridges are not your energy, but you've been conditioned to believe that you need this in order to be good enough, in order to be whole. So mine is 27. And I'm going to tell you how this plays out. This plays out in my parenting. Am I a good enough mother? This plays out in my relationships. Am I a good enough partner? This plays out in my business. Am I nurturing my clients enough? Am I giving them enough attention? Am I giving them enough love? When I notice myself go into these, and I've specifically built my business where there is not much one-on-one nurturing. Yes, we have conversations in the group, and I love to support you all in there, but there is not a lot of one-on-one nurturing. And I don't do one-on-ones very often, just by request sometimes. And that's because my 27 is so sensitive that I know, well, one, it's not in my energy right now based on my 1-3 interpersonal profile and based on my circuitry. And I teach you all of that inside the human design income system. But also that 27 is always going to judge my nurturing. And I might not be here to be a nurturer, right? I am here to empower through my individual circuitry. I am here to show you the way. I am here to guide you. I am here to teach you. I am not here to coddle you, right? That is not my energy. But that 27 will have me believe that I am here to do that and I'm not doing it well enough. That is me being completely unaligned with my energy. Can you see why? So if I am stuck in 27 and I could be here, right? Like I could be stuck in this and I'm journaling on it, and it doesn't matter how much I journal on this because it's not my energy. And same with the undefined centers for the single definition. It doesn't matter how many times you journal around your anxiety. Stop taking in the things that give you anxiety, right? And your body graph will literally show you where. You don't have to guess. Tap into your feelings. How do I feel when I do this, when I do that? It will literally tell you. So what I've done is that I've reduced the stimuli that I take in from my bridges, the things that affect my bridges. And then after that, the undefined centers. So yeah, you've got a little bit of work here if you're a split definition. You have a little bit of work here. But I promise you, it's not as difficult as you think. Your body and your mind already knows. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. Okay, a little bit more complicated. Stay with me here. This is a large split. Splitty. I spelled it wrong. This is a large split. I don't see these often. Y'all are rare birds. Here's the difference between a simple split and a large split. A simple split blames themselves. A large split blames other people. So well, that's one difference. The other difference is that they usually need an entire channel to complete their definition. So I guess I shared this in another video, but I'll share this again. What makes this a simple split? What screen am I sharing at this point? What makes this a simple split is that there are islands of definition. So the throat, the G center, and the sacral are all connected. The root, the spleen, and the ego are all connected, but they do not connect to each other. So there's two islands of definition that are not connected to each other, which means I don't process energy. I don't process information the same way that other people do. It takes me much longer to process information. I have to read it 3 to 8 times more than single definition. Like, what must it be like to be a single definition? It sounds amazing. My point is that your bridges, what you're looking for is the connection. So for this large split, in order for this person to connect their definition, they're going to need like a gate and a channel. But you can see that there's so many so many different ways of connecting the ajna crown with this here, with this island. Like we could do it through the 22 and the 23, which would either that or the 20 and the 23 would probably be the simplest. But it could also be the 36, 35 and the 23, right? So it could be a lot of different things. We want to look at the simplest. So as a large split, it is a little bit more complicated for you. What I would do if I were you is I would look at your significant other's chart and I would look at your parents' charts and see how they connected your centers. If they turned you into a single definition, I would look at the way how, and that is probably your biggest conditioning. Meaning, if this person's wife has the 35, 36 and the 56, 11, even though that's not what we would originally look at, that is probably going to be some big conditioning for you because you got used to that energy. You got used to having that energy that when it was gone, it was like, oh my God, who am I and what am I doing? So large definition, large splits, you want to look at that as well as your centers, as your undefined centers. This is all the places where you're going to take in information and stimuli that is not you, that is going to fuck up your mind, your subconscious, your identity. It's going to make you conditioned. It's going to make you believe that you are not as amazing as you are. Pay attention. Pay attention to these things. Pay attention to when it comes up and remove it without question. If it's not serving you, it's hindering you. Okay? If you took nothing away from this video, that if it's not serving you, it is hindering you. Get rid of it. Okay. Now, not lastly, we still have two more charts. Let's look at the triple split. So triple split, you are very similar to a single definition. Triple splits, you want to look at timing. You're also very different in a good way, right? Like very cool little I can never say this word right. Some people might say weird. I don't think you're weird. I think you're different in a very cool, creative way. And you need to own that. Also, timing. Timing is very important, the way that you move based on your own timing. You want to look at your undefined centers. Okay, so for this person, they would, what is this, the triple split? Yep. You would only look at the completely open spleen. That is where you would be taking in things that are not meant for you. So for this person, I would say where or what makes them feel addicted, makes them feel like they can't let go of this thing. The more they feel like they need this thing, the more they should get rid of it. What makes them feel unwell in their body and their mind? Those are the things they need to be releasing and removing. Definitely a dopamine detox for this person. Okay, and then lastly, we have a quad. Disappeared. Hold on 1 second. Okay, for this quad, you can see that genetic matrix gives you the entire thing. Yes, this is a lot. I know. You don't have to constantly be paying attention to every single one of them. I would pick one or two for a few days and then switch it up. And after a week or two, you're going to notice a pattern that, hey, I'm really stuck in this 12. I am really stuck in this 38. Like I constantly feel like everything on the internet is my fight. Like I am answering all kinds of comments and I am poking people and I'm turning everything into my problem. Or, I always feel like I don't have enough skills. So I'm always buying more and more courses to increase my skill level rather than using what I have. rather than using my defined centers. I'm always looking at everybody else and judging myself that I don't have as many skills as they do. You'll start to see patterns of how these gates show up for you in the not self. Pay attention. This is how you are sabotaging yourself. Okay. Let me summarize this real quick because we already went longer than I intended. If you want to manifest on demand, if you want to manifest faster, if you want to manifest cooler, better shit, get a hold of your mind, because your consciousness is the number one manifester. Your consciousness is what's manifesting. We manifest through our awareness. How do we collapse the quantum wave that we hear about in quantum physics? How do we collapse the wave of possibilities into one reality, into one possibility? With our awareness, by observing it. Now, if your awareness is constantly ping-ponging and going everywhere, and you are highly focused on the things that condition you, which likely you are because that's how conditioning works, then you are sabotaging your manifesting efforts. Stop sabotaging your manifesting efforts and focus on what matters. So, caveat. We want to spend time understanding where our awareness is going, but we don't want to spend all of our time here, right? So looking at the shadows and the conditioning aspects of our chart is incredibly important, especially if you're troubleshooting and you're currently not getting what you want and you want to figure out why. This is so important, but don't stay here. Do not stay here. Take my word for it. It is a depressing, deep, dark hole because like attracts like. The more that you look at shadows, the more that you look at conditionings, the more you create more of that. So focus on where your attention is going. Just pick one thing, just decide, right? Like pick one gate, pick one center, and just focus on that. Do I feel like I am being distracted by this not self energy constantly? And what can I remove so that that is no longer happening? And then remove it and let it go. Okay. And then send your awareness to the things that you do want. And maybe we'll talk about this. I guess we will. We'll talk about this in the next video, how to actually collapse the wave for what we do want using the body graph. You don't have to use the body graph, but you can. It's helpful. It's helpful for creating clarity and like hyper focus. Okay. I hope this was helpful. This is your step one, is to detox your mind, become more aware of where you're taking in distractions, things that are not you, and remove them. Let me know if you have questions, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.